All right, this is the video demo of the Vibeonix web application. Vibeonix is an incredible AI tool that allows you to measure your emotional state. It measures 34 distinct emotions as well as your positivity and your proactivity. And it also gives you feedback on your personality and your intercompatibility with other personality types. In Vibeonix, there are three main user types. There is the self-guided user. There's also the guide, which is kind of like a coach. And there's also an admin user. And we'll show the features for all three of these user types, beginning with the self-guided user, and then the guide, and then the admin. So we're here at the login screen. It's pretty simple. You basically just enter in your credentials and click login. And you can see here that after logging in, the self-guided user can see a list of assessments if the self-guided user has already taken assessments in the past. If for a new user, this would just be blank. It would be an empty list. But the new assessment button in the upper left, this one right here, you click on that, and then it gives you this option to record your voice to have it analyzed for your first assessment. So it prompts you to ensure that you're sitting in a quiet place. Once you're in a quiet place, you click this button, and then it says, let's record your voice. When ready, tap the mic and follow the instructions. So I'll go ahead and tap the mic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, ordinarily, this would prompt me to count from 1 to 100. I'm not going to do that right now because if I do, it'll consume an actual assessment credit, which out of respect for the application owners, the client, I'm not going to do that right now. So I'm going to click cancel, pretend that we finished that assessment, and then I'm going to view the previous assessment. So when the assessment is complete, it shows up on this list, and you're able to view the assessment here. In each assessment, you can see that there are actually several different categories of feedback. You can see this high-low vibration, proactive, reactive, emotions, characteristics, fight, flight, freeze, functional situation, attitude, interaction, mood and personality, vibe type, and vibe type comparison. Now, not all of these are available to every self-guided user. Basically, there's a level 1 and a level 2, depending upon basically the price that the self-guided user is paying. Or if the user is actually a guided user, it depends upon the subscription level of the guide. Right now, we're seeing both levels, so lots of items here. But normally, for a brand new user without any association to a guide or without kind of upgrading to a premium level, they'd only be able to see down to interaction, but mood and personality, vibe type, and vibe type comparison would not show here. Now in Vibeonix, there is kind of a loose association between high vibration and positivity and low vibration and negativity. But one of the main purposes of Vibeonix is to destigmatize our negative emotions, or rather our low vibration emotions, so that we can honor them and feel them and move past them. So you can see that it gives me a score here of 55. So 55% of my emotions are what would be considered high vibration emotions, and 45% of those emotions would be considered low vibration emotions. Now, as you scroll down here, you can see a chart of my high vibration versus my low vibration over time. And you can see that, hopefully you can see that I'm gradually becoming a more positive person. All right, so this is high versus low vibration. Proactive versus reactive. It's basically showing me that I tend to be more reactive in this reading. Now, you can also see that that has changed several times over time. Anything between like a 25 and a 50 is kind of a normal level of proactivity between reactive and proactive. If you get above a 50, then you're really proactive. If you get below 25, you're more reactive. So you can tell that I've definitely had some days where I have felt frustrated and I felt very reactive, and other days when I have felt very proactive. That's proactive, reactive. Now you can also see that there are emotions here. Here are the scores for the high vibration emotions, the scores for the low vibration emotions, and the size of these bars in the histogram basically show the relative proportion of my emotions that are dominated by being engaged or happy or showing attention or experiencing anger or sorrow. So I experience more sorrow than anger. I'm more engaged than I'm at feeling at ease. So you can kind of see which emotions dominate my emotional state. Characteristics. This shows several characteristics related to my behavior, my dominance, my emotional state, my functional state, my extrinsic motivation versus my intrinsic motivation. my rational state, and my social involvement. Fight, flight, freeze. This shows me how I respond to stress, whether I tend to stand up and fight it, or if I tend to flee a stressful situation, or if I just freeze in that situation. You can see there are several other categories here. We're not really going to go into many of these. A vibe type is kind of like a personality type. It tells me that I'm the advisor and describes that advisor, that I'm caring, I'm popular, I'm a communicator, I'm good at supporting others and helping bring out their potential, etc. It gives me feedback about my focus of attention, my defense mechanisms, my early childhood beliefs. And it also gives me a second vibe type, which is my perceived identity. So basically, I am an advisor, but I perceive myself as an altruist, even though I really am an advisor. So, for example, I see myself as over-adjusting and merging, resigning, that I have an easygoing nature, that I'm affable, and that I'm plagued by indecision. That is how I perceive myself, even though really I'm more of this advisor up here. And the vibe type comparison shows a numeric score and a description of how I interact with people of the other vibe types. So if I'm interacting with someone who is an enthusiast, it describes here how the enthusiast and I can partner up as a team, inviting others to join us, that we're both driven by feelings and oriented toward people and activities, etc. It also gives a negative description of how our interactions might play out. So you reach goals differently. Enthusiasts put all their effort into their work, while the advisor feels social issues are more important. And the same thing for all of these different types. Now you can see that the highest intercompatibility that I have is with the seeker, even though we are double opposites. So the advisor is the people person, the seeker is the loner. The advisor is the feeling type, the seeker is the thinker. The seeker is loyal, stable, and strong in crisis situations. And then it also gives me this negative description of how the advisor can get frustrated when the seeker doesn't respond. The seeker may make the advisor feel unimportant. So that's a really quick description of the biofeedback that a user can receive in Vibeonix. Now you can see there are also several other tabs here. I can click on my credits and see the number of credits that I have to spend. I also can move over to the training portal. That opens up in a new tab. That's a different system that we just integrated with, so I'm not really going to go into this at all because we didn't build this. This is a third-party LMS called Atrixware. There's nothing under account settings yet. And then also this support tab can take you over to the support portal, where you can read articles on how to use the portal and log a support request and log out. Great. So that is the self-guided user experience. Now I have a different account for my guide user. I'm going to go ahead and log in as the guide now. So I'm going to go ahead and change this login information here to be my guide account info. I'm going to log in. All right. Now, whereas before, as a self-guided user, I could see a list of my assessments. Now I see this tab called Manage Clients. And the Manage Clients shows me all of the different people that are underneath me as a guide. And so one of the users that I'm guiding is actually my other self-guided account, so my Gmail account here. So I'm kind of pretending like I'm two different people right now. I can go here to this line and I can select any of the past results that my user has taken, and I can click View. I can also click New Assessment to start a new assessment. I can click Add New Client here to add a new client. Then they'll show up on this list, and then I can take a new assessment for that client. I'm going to go ahead and click View. Coming here basically takes me back to the same assessment result that we saw previously, and all this information is the same as what we've already viewed. I can close the client and go back to my my group list. The tabs here on the left are similar to the ones that we saw under the self-guided user. So you can click over to the training portal. You can also click over to the support portal. I'm going to go ahead and log out now. Okay, I'm going to log in as the admin user. That is this test@test.com account. Okay, now you can see that as an admin, I don't have any clients, but I do have this tab here that says Manage Users. Basically, here are different users. I can search for a user by typing their name in here. I can manage the user, so you can see as an admin, I can see my guide account here, this one, and I can also see my the self-guided account, this Gmail account. I can click Manage, and if I want to, I could take my this account and I could change it from a regular self-guided user to a guide user. Let's go back to manage the guided user. So you can see there are different levels of certifications in Vibeonix that correspond to the tabs in the result that we saw. So again, level 2 shows mood and personality, vibe types, vibe type comparison. If I were to turn this off for this guide user, then not only would the guide not be able to see the mood and personality, vibe types, and vibe type comparison tabs on the results for all of his guided users, none of those users would be able to see those tabs either. So a lot of this hinges on the guide and the guide's level of subscription with Vibeonix. And that's it. So it's some basic admin features that allow Vibeonix as a company to manage their users and to decide who is a user and who is a guide. All right, that's our demo. Thank you.